What is up, everyone? Welcome to the show. My name's John Moore, and today I want to show you guys what a pair of $40 dress shoes looks like after 2 years of hard wear. Now, not wear to the office, not wear just out pounding pavement. I'm talking about going out and just wearing the things every day. I've weeded in the darn things. I've dug ditches in the darn things. At one point, these were the only pair of shoes that I had. So these things have really been through the ringer. So I'm going to go ahead and bring them up here and let you have a look at them. They look really well, and I think this is a testament to how well a pair of shoes will hold up if not you spend a lot of money on them, but if you shop based on good materials and good construction. Okay, so I want to let you guys see this and let you see sort of how they're holding up. Okay, so there's just a quick little run around of them right there, just a quick overview. You'll see a lot of heavy patina on these. All right, these things, none of that patina is intentional. These things have they've gotten a lot of wear on them with all the abrading of the leather. It's opened up the grain of the leather. They take in oils and debris and dirts and materials from the road and everything else, and they just darken. And with polish and the pigments, they darken, and they've gotten really dark. Even for a pair of dark brown shoes, which typically are not going to patina very much, these things have still managed to patina. So I want to go ahead and actually let you guys have an individual look at each of these shoes. Now, these are not freshly polished. I've wore these a few times since I polished them last, so they're starting to get a little bit dull. But that's just the way it is, I guess, for this video. It's just how it's going to be. But you can see they're fairly dark. Let's pull you back a little bit here and let you get a better focus, a better look at them. Okay. So you can see what they look like. And once again, there's that patina showing up. You can see how they're fairly light up here at the vamp and across the laces and back here across where the ankle is. And then we get over here across the top of the vamp and towards the toe, they get really dark again. Okay, and we'll see the same thing back here. Once again, we'll see some patina at the heel. There's a scuff there from last time I wore them. I need to polish that out. And you'll see, once again, a little bit of patina. Now these things, this is the worst one of the pair. All right, so we've got a cracked welt on this side and a cracked welt on this side as well. It's inconsequential, doesn't mean anything. It just means if I was to ever want to have these resoled, that would have to be replaced, but these will never be resoled because these are glued on soles. Word of wisdom here for you guys. If you see stitching along the bottom of your shoes, doesn't mean jack shit. Doesn't mean they're stitched. Most of the time that stitching is going to be fake on a cheaper pair of shoes, okay? I'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, the welt's cracked on it a little bit. Like I said, it's inconsequential for this. You've got a couple little nicks in the leather over here and also down here. No cracking. The leather's held up fine. Leather's not brittle or anything like that. It's not hard. Just a few little nicks from wear and working in them. And yeah, they've held up really well. Okay, so getting back to the sole a little bit, let's talk a little bit about what to look for whenever you're purchasing these. Okay, now a lot of people, I've said in the past that you should look for stitching along the bottom. Make sure that it's welted. I was mistaken in that a lot of these cheaper companies use a fake stitch. And how you can tell is if the stitching on the outside, if the stitching on the upper part of the welt does not match up with the stitching on the bottom. Because what's going on is the manufacturers, whenever they make these soles for these shoes, they make them out in bulk. So the stitching is all the same size. And so they have to make it small enough so that it will still fit on their smallest shoe. So you end up with a larger distance between the welt on the bottom than the welt on the top. All right, so you end up with the stitches not lining up, and so that's a good indicator that it's fake. Okay. Another indicator is that you can find usually somewhere on the inside of the shoe, on the inside. Okay, as far as the side that's not facing outward, you'll find a seam. All right, and you can just go around it. If it's not there, you just go around your shoe and you'll find where the welt, there's a separate section of welt above the rubber sole, and you can find a seam where it joins because it's just a string of material. Okay, it could be leather or rubber or whatever it is. And if the stitching is cut on the seam, then it's fake. All right, because what will happen is if this is really sewn on, then what they'll do is they'll actually take the stitching past that seam and then they'll bring it back to lock it. It's a locking stitch. Okay, so in this case they're cut, and you can just see that the stitch is cut directly on that seam there. So these are fake. They're fake welts, and you know that's okay. It's a $40 pair of shoes. You know, these are glued on, even though they're stitched. You can't see the stitching because I got a half sole on these right now just to protect them and get a little extra life out of them. But even though they're stitched, doesn't mean anything. There's actually no mechanical joining going on with them. But they're glued on, and they're glued on well. They've held up really well. So don't let that turn you off. A glued on sole, if they use a good material, a good glue, they won't fall apart. They'll stay together for the life of the shoe, at least for as long as the sole lasts, okay? So that's my little bit of wisdom and experience I have for you with that. Next thing I tell you to look for would be to look for genuine leather, okay? Now, if you can find top grain leather, you can find corrected grain leather, by all means, go for it. But, $40, even $70, $100, you're not going to get that. Just go for genuine leather. Look for genuine leather, and you're good as gold, okay? Now, they look a little bit plasticky at first, and that's because they have to apply and print the grain onto the leather. But as that breaks down and the coating they put on the leather breaks down, the leather will begin to take a patina as it opens up and begins to breathe again. It'll happen over a period of a couple months. They'll open up again, and then they'll start to take a patina on those wear spots. And you'll see right there how it's done. And, it wears, and you can condition it, and the leather soaks in the conditioning and everything just fine. There's a little more of a break-in period for it. So that being said, that is a $40 pair of dress shoes. So, anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Most of these shoes like this, generally this pair of shoes I got them on discount at a shoe department. Normally they'd be about $60 to $70, but anywhere under $70, if you can find genuine leather, from a brand like Florsheim, or what is it, Florsheim, I don't know how you pronounce it, Asher Green, Stacy Adams, those are big box store brands, but if you can find genuine leather and the stitching, you just look at it and everything looks like it's fairly neat, it'll probably hold up all right for you. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please be sure to leave it a like down below. Subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. I'll see you all in the next one. Later.